Staying in touch is just a few clicks away. Get the latest news from a Catholic perspective and so much more. Become a RealCatholicTV.com premium member today.
The battle over Planned Parenthood funding in the Lone Star State continues. The Obama administration may be botching negotiations to save a pro-life activist, and getting an annulment is about to become more difficult. Those stories and more just ahead on Catholic News Roundup.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Texas defunds Planned Parenthood. Texans don't have to fund Planned Parenthood, says a Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals judge who is knocking down an injunction from a lower court which would have forced the state to fund America's abortion giant until their pending case is heard. You may remember a district judge ordered the state to continue funding Planned Parenthood until arguments were heard in a lawsuit brought by 8 of Planned Parenthood's clinics, in which they claim they should still receive state funding because they do not actually perform abortions. Texas's decision to defund Planned Parenthood will keep $13 million from going to the abortion giant and its partners every year. Laws limit life threats. Georgia's governor has signed 2 new pieces of legislation, severely limiting abortion and illegalizing assisted suicide. The governor of the Peach State, Nathan Deal, signed both laws earlier this week. The abortion law bans the murderous act after 20 weeks, with the exception of babies who, quote, have extreme defects that make survival difficult, or in the case of life endangerment to the mother, making Georgia the 8th state to ban abortions after 20 weeks. Georgia's new suicide law makes it a felony to help another person commit suicide. Beijing brokers Defecter's deal. Pro-life activist Chen Guangcheng and his family may still be in danger, as an apparent deal made with the Obama administration over their plight is unraveling. According to the Associated Press, media reports say the activist was pressured to leave the U.S. Embassy in Beijing after seeking protection there, pressured because the United States was trying to minimize an embarrassing situation for China. Chen, who suffered house arrest and oppression for years after exposing forced abortions in the communist country, was not protected by the Obama administration after he was told by Chinese officials that his wife would be beaten to death if he did not leave the embassy. You can read the full story on our resource page by clicking on the link right outside the screen, and we will keep you updated on this story as it develops. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Possible annulment crackdown. The Vatican may soon be taking a tougher stance on annulments, the procedure in church law for declaring a marriage invalid because a bond never existed. The topic of new, stricter regulations was discussed at an April conference in Rome, which was presided over by Cardinal Raymond Burke, head of the Apostolic Signatura. The potential change could have a big impact on Roman Catholics in the United States, which contains only 6% of the global Catholic population, but accounts for about 40,000 to 60,000 of the decrees of nullity issued worldwide annually. The focus of the change is on Canon 1095, which says that a marriage can be declared null if one of the parties lacks the ability to consent because of, quote, causes of a psychic nature. In church law, there are 15 to 20 possible grounds for an annulment, but more are granted on the basis of Canon 1095 than all the others combined. Rome to oversee charity. Pope Benedict XVI has approved new guidelines for governing Caritas Internationalis, the overarching organization for over 160 Catholic aid and development agencies. This new accountability stems from worries that the charitable body's Catholic identity was deteriorating, a concern that was expressed multiple times by several high-ranking Vatican officials, including the Holy Father himself. Not only will the new rules enable the Vatican to increase its oversight of Caritas operations, staffing, and finances, but senior officials in the organization will also have to promise loyalty to church teaching. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. Also, don't forget to check out The Vortex, where Michael talks about the identification of dictator-like behavior that deserves a standing ovation. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.